Hello everyone, I am Dr. Sivadas Madhavan, Associate Professor of English, Wolaita University, Ethiopia. Today I am going to talk about the first chapter of research. The first chapter of research is an overview of research, or it is the foundation of research. It gives a broad idea about the whole research. A person who reads the research will read the first chapter before the others. So, after reading the first chapter, he must be attracted to the research paper and he must be tempted to read the rest of the paper. So, very important systematic way of writing the first chapter will enhance the quality of the research paper. And research paper is very formal writing. Informal expressions are not allowed. Informal expressions like the first person pronoun I, we, etc. will be avoided. And the language will be standard language, grammatically accurate, and the sentences will be concise, active sentences to make it very powerful. So, in the research paper, what the researcher writes in the first chapter will be very crucial, because all the rules set in the first chapter will be reflected in all the other parts of the research paper. So it's a very basic structure of the research paper. It's a foundation, and it has some subsections to explain what it is and how it is. The first thing is introduction. In the introductory part, some strong statements, including the key words from the title of the research, will be explained to give a general introduction to the topic, to introduce the topic. And there will be a thesis statement or a thesis sentence which can be the summary of the whole research paper. So it gives the clue. And to do that, you cannot write the first chapter first. It will be written at the end, after completing all the other chapters. That means a researcher doesn't begin with first chapter, he begins with the second chapter. Second chapter is the review of literature, and there he reads a lot of materials related to the topic, and he acquires the knowledge. That is second chapter. So begins with second chapter and goes to third chapter, fourth chapter, etc. And after completing, before writing the conclusion, the researcher writes the first chapter. Then only it will be appropriate, because to write a thesis statement, he has to do everything and he has to know what his research paper is. So it's possible only after completing the work, but before the conclusion, because conclusion cannot be included in the first chapter. Conclusion is only after conducting the study. If you put anything in, or if you give a hint to the conclusion in the first chapter, people will ask you, or the examiners will ask you, how can you jump into conclusions before you conduct the study? So you have to be careful about it. And when you come to the different sections of the first chapter, the first thing is introduction, second is the background of the study. Background of the study is a mini form of review of literature. That means what is known about the topic, what other people have said or what other scholars have said about the topic. That will be in the background of the study. And next comes to the statement of the problem. That is the problem which the researcher begins with, or which the researcher explores in the study. So after the statement of the problem, he comes to the objectives, the purpose behind doing the research. And next comes to the research questions. The questions, the research problems will be formed into questions, and it will be clearly defined in accordance with the objectives and research questions will go hand in hand. It will tally with each other, and then it will be very compact, and it will be matching with each other. And next comes to the scope of the study. The scope of the study means the delimitation of the study, the range that you cover under the topic. And next comes to the constraints. Constraints means the problems, the troubles the researcher faces to study that topic. That is constraints of the study. And next comes to the significance of the study. Significance means the importance, the benefits of the study, who will benefit and how it will be beneficial to the study, to the readers and to the coming new generations. And next comes to the theoretical framework. Theoretical framework refers to the known theories which can be applied in conducting this research. And then comes the conceptual framework. Conceptual framework is like theoretical framework. Conceptual framework will be a framework or a flow chart consisting of the variables of the study to show the natural flow of action. And it may be related to the theoretical framework, or it may be the new ideas of the researcher who tries to form a particular theory. So it hasn't become a theory, maybe it will become a theory in the future after his study. If people accept it, it becomes a theory also. And next comes the definition of terms. Definition of terms means the key words or the terms which are used in the research paper must be explained by the researcher. It is the operational definition of the special terms used in the research. And it comes to the three important points about the introduction. That is, the introduction specifies the gap, the knowledge gap, which the researcher tries to fill, and why it needs to be filled, and how this study is going to fill the gap. So these 3 points will be explained by the first chapter, or it can be 3 main points. We can do in another way, as the first thing is what is known about the topic. What is known about the topic means that is in the background, we have it. And next is the research gap. That is, what is not known about the topic. So it leads to the research gap. And the third point is how and why this research gap is going to be filled up, or how this research gap is going to be filled by the researcher. So these 3 points are very important. So the first chapter is the foundation or the overview of the research. And I hope these ideas will be clear to you. And this is enough for today. And about the second chapter, we will come up with the second chapter next time. Thank you.